everybody. Today is number 5 in the 12 Games of Christmas challenge, and we're playing Black Orchestra. This game is a historical game in which the player takes, or the players take the roles of people who tried to assassinate Hitler and to overthrow his regime. I've set up a one-player game. If you play solo, you play with 2 conspirators. I drew, and I did this completely blindly, I drew Admiral Wilhelm Canaris. He's a member of the Abwehr, he's the head of the Abwehr. And also Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who's also a member of the Abwehr, and he was a theologian and Abwehr agent. I've only ever played this game once, and it's a really good game. I was a bit skeptical as to how they were going to implement certain parts of history and how this was going to play out, but I'm very happy to say that it's very convincingly done. Now, how does this game work? It's essentially a game where you pick up things, these brown tiles here, and I don't know which ones are where. So you collect items that you need in order to kill Hitler. So it could be poison or something. And as the game progresses, history progresses, which is outlined by the 7 stages. Up here you can't see the cards, but I will be pulling from those stacks. And also, we're playing on easy, which means that Hitler has very, very low military support, which also means, you know, it makes it a little bit easier for him to be killed. Each person, or each person you play, has different motivations. And you try to improve their motivations without making them completely suspicious, because obviously everyone is getting more and more suspicious of other people. So you're trying to keep your suspicion down. So I've got the rule set printed off as well. And we will get started. So first of all, we are here in the middle of Berlin, in the train station. The different little bubbles designate places that you can travel to, but they change over time. So Berlin is always accessible. As of stage 1, you can go into stage 1 places. So we could go down here to Munich, whoops, Göring fell apart. Munich, Tannenberg, Adlerhorst, Nuremberg, and I believe Hess is in Hanover. Yes, he's in Hanover. But other places are only accessible as time progresses. So basically, Wasserburg, Borisov, Smolensk are only available later on in the game. And also, so basically this signifies the expansion of the Third Reich. But they also figured out that there is, of course, a kind of contraction happening later in history, which is designated by a strike through 7, which means that as of stage 7, the East is no longer accessible, and the West, like Wolfsschlucht and Paris, are no longer accessible either. So basically then is really only this part. So you see the Reich expand and you see it contract. So let's get started. First of all, you have to check whether you are at the start of your turn in the same space as either Hitler or one of his deputies. We've got Hitler up here at the moment, he's in the Deutschlandhalle. We've got Himmler, Reichsführer SS, he's in the Gestapo HQ. Goebbels, Propaganda Minister, is in the Ministry of Propaganda, of course. That's where he starts. We've got Rudolf Hess, and I'm going to talk about him a little bit later, because I really like what they did with him. He is in Hanover. We've got Bormann. He's got his starting position is in Nuremberg, and then finally Göring, who sits in Munich. We start our game in the train station, which means that the first thing we would need to do is we would need to check, do we suffer penalties because we are at the beginning of our turn in the same area as one of the deputies or Hitler himself. So Admiral Canaris is green, he's going to start, and he is not in any way close to anyone in Hitler's inner circle, physically speaking, so we can ignore this. Now we have up to 3 actions. We can take a card from the conspirator deck, and we can have up to 2 in the beginning. We can collect an item, we can move, we can deliver items, we can reveal an item, we can transfer, we can conspire, and we can draw, and then once this is done we have to draw an event card. So first of all, I believe that Admiral Wilhelm Canaris is going to move, and he can't move over here, he can only move south, but he's not going to move anywhere for the time being. Oh well, actually he's going to move to the Sportpalast, which is 1 action. He's going to draw a dossier card. Oh my god, leaked travel plans. This is an illegal card. We can spend 1 action and discard this card to move Hitler up to 3 spaces, or we can discard this card and move a conspirator up to 3 spaces. So that's our second action. And we are going to... Can we collect in one go? Do we have to reveal first? Let me just check briefly. Yeah, we can reveal it to see what's there. These are weapons. Okay. So that's his action, or actions, I should say. Next up is we need to draw an event card, and we draw it from the first stage. It's called Visit from Himmler. Himmler unexpectedly arrives for a top-level meeting. Move Himmler to the space with the nearest conspirators. Himmler is up here. The nearest conspirator would be Canaris. So he's going to move here. If there is only 1 conspirator on that space, that conspirator may roll a die. The dice are custom dice, and they come with a game. I roll a 3, and on a 3 it says, on a die roll of 1, 2, or 3, they raise their motivation by that amount. So we roll, our motivation goes up from 1, timid, to committed. We can attempt plots. So unless we are, I guess, suitably motivated, our conspirators cannot actually do anything about Hitler, so they can't even try to kill him. Next up is Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He's in the train station. He's also not in the same space as any of Hitler's deputies, so he's fine. What he's going to do is he is going to move to Hesse in Hanover. That's 1 action. He's going to draw a card, and he draws a plot J, kidnapping. In order for him to be able to pull this off, is he needs to be in the same space as Hitler. Yeah, that makes sense. Hitler needs to be in a Berlin 1 or 2 space. He can also use the following multiples of this element. Optional elements are Wehrmacht, weapon, signature. Now, Dietrich Bonhoeffer is not in the Wehrmacht, so this one doesn't work. He can have weapons with him, and he could have more than 1 item that is a weapon, and he can have a signature. For each of these elements, he gets 1 die. So if you look at it like this, you can see that it says here, the required elements are you are in the same space as Hitler and Hitler is in any Berlin 1 or 2 space. If this is the case, then you roll 1 die. In order to increase the likelihood of succeeding, you go to the optional elements that will give you additional dice. So we're going to keep this. So that was action 2. And then he's going to reveal this, and it says it's a map. So at the moment, if we were to look at the kidnapping plot, in order for him to pull it off, he cannot get anything for the Wehrmacht because he's not a member of the Wehrmacht, he's in the Abwehr. But if he went to the Sportpalast, he could pick up the weapons, which would give him 1 additional die already. So, now we're going to draw a card, and this card reads Party Rally. The rally of Greater Germany is held at Nuremberg. Move Hitler and all deputies to Nuremberg. This is very important because now they're all in the middle. So this is it's going to get a little bit crowded in Nuremberg, but that's fine. But it also means that neither of our two, or at least Canaris, was in the same space as Himmler. But now, at the beginning of his turn, he's not, so he doesn't suffer any penalties. So we're going to put this away. Oh, sorry, I need to check if this was, I think one of these was a key event, the party rally. Was it? Yeah. Is it a key event? No, it's not a key event. So far we haven't had any key events. Okay. So, Canaris is not going to pick up the weapons because he doesn't even have a plot. So he's going to draw a, oh again, moment of truth, discard this card, add 2, it's another illegal one, discard this card, add 2 to a plot you attempt. So that was number 1. Number 2, he's going to move to the Ministry of Propaganda, and he's going to reveal as his third option the element there. We draw a card. Aha. If this stage's key event is in play, ignore this card and draw another. No, it's not. So it's the Blomberg-Fritsch affair. Top aristocrats are sacked. Hitler becomes commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Raise Hitler's military support by 1. Move Göring to the chancellery. Okay. Next up is Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Dietrich Bonhoeffer is going to use his first action to move to the Sportpalast. Sorry, he's going to move to the train station, 1, and then he's going to take 2 to the Sportpalast, and 3 he's going to pick up this item because he needs it for his plot. At the moment, however, he cannot actually perform any plots because he's still timid. We draw a card. Parade in Berlin. Hitler celebrates Heroes' Remembrance Day in Berlin. Move Hitler, Goebbels and Hess to the Zeughaus. Hitler, Goebbels and Hess. All Wehrmacht in Berlin lower their suspicion by 1. We don't have any Wehrmacht. While this card is the current event, ignore 2 eagles on all plot events. Okay, so okay, we should have put them over here. This is a game for people with very long arms. 1, 2, 3. So this is the current event. So if we were to attempt a plot, which we can't because we're not able to do so at the moment, Canaris would be able to do that, but we can't. He can now Canaris can now hold 6 dossier cards. Going to draw 1 card, concealed pistol. While in your dossier, treat this card as both weapons, item and a conspirator card. It can be discarded, transferred or delivered in the same way as an item and does not count against your item limit. Okay, so we're going to take this as number 1. We're going to move to the Sportpalast number 2 and we're going to give this to Dietrich Bonhoeffer as our third action. So Bonhoeffer now has 2 weapons and he has a plot card. At the moment he would be getting 3 dice. Unfortunately he is too timid to attempt anything. So we're going to draw a card. Aha, key event. Munich Agreement. Neville Chamberlain negotiates a treaty with Hitler. When the next event card is drawn, move this key event to the side of the board. Remove it when the next stage begins. Raise Hitler's military support by 1. Remove the next 2 stage event cards from the game. Do not reveal these cards. And now we've seen something that happens also at the very beginning of the game. You always remove the top 2 cards so that each time you play, you're not always seeing the same cards. Okay, so Bonhoeffer is now going to roll 3 dice to conspire. Oh, and we rolled 3 crosshairs, which we're going to place here. When the track is full, return all dice on the track and to the supply and choose one of the following effects. 1 conspirator raises their motivation by 1, which is what we're going to do. So he's only skeptical. But that's him done. He can't do anything else. The Anschluss. If this stage's key event is in play, ignore this card and draw another. So this moves in here. We ignore this one. Deputies deployed. Move Bormann to Hanover. Move Göring to Tannenberg. Move Himmler to Nuremberg. Himmler is already in Nuremberg, so that's okay. Next up is Canaris. Canaris is going to draw another card. Oh, and finally gets a plot. Hidden bomb. Required elements. You are in the same space as Hitler. Hitler is not in a fortified space. it would be good if he had keys and explosives, and if he was a civilian, which he isn't. So, okay, so that's number one. Number two is he's going to go there, and number three is he's going to take up the keys. And on his next turn, he could actually try and attempt to kill Hitler. Investigations begin. All conspirators raise their suspicion by 1. Okay. Dietrich Bonhoeffer is now going to draw another dossier card, devise plot. You can spend 1 action to discard this card. Reveal cards from the top of the conspirator deck until you reveal a plot. Add that card to your dossier and discard all other revealed cards. No, he's not going to do that. He's going to, that was his first action. Second action is going to go to Gestapo HQ. Third action is going to reveal the icon there. We're now on stage 2. Anti-Semitic laws. All conspirators raise their motivation by 1. All Jews are required to carry ID cards and passports stamped with a J. And again, I really would like to draw your attention to the artwork as well, because they really try to capture this era. So now Dietrich Bonhoeffer is motivated. He can use his conspirator ability, which is you raise the motivation of all other conspirators in your space by 1, limit to once per turn, and Canaris now becomes reckless, so he can also attempt a reckless plot. It's now Canaris's turn, and he could, in theory, try and kill Hitler. And I think we're going to do this. He is going to move to the Zeughaus for 1, and then he's going to attempt a plot. And what we need to do is we need to check what we have to do in order for a plot to succeed. Oh, he doesn't have explosives. No, he doesn't need them, actually. Optional elements. Required elements are, you are in the same space as Hitler. Yes, he is. Hitler is not in a fortified space, and he isn't because the Zeughaus is not fortified, which gives him, it grants him 1 die. He has the keys, 2 dice, and he has the moment of truth card, which he's going to play. It doesn't cost him anything. So he's going to play that, which adds 2 dice to his plot attempt. we would need, it's going to be difficult because we would need 4 crosshairs to win on 4 dice. And we didn't. Okay, we had 2 crosshairs. There are no, we didn't roll any eagles. Whoops, that was a 2, sorry. So we didn't have any eagles. We would have been, our plot would have been detected if we had rolled 1 eagle because we are under high suspicion. So that didn't happen. Also, we didn't roll enough of his crosshairs. So it means it didn't go off as planned, but nobody noticed that we were trying to kill Hitler. So that didn't go down so well. And nothing happened. So that's it. It was like it never happened. So what we're now going to do is we're going to play, our last action is to discard this card, and we're going to move ourselves 3 spaces to run away, so to speak. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go to the Deutschlandhalle and we're going to sit here. So that was the first time we attempted a plot. And we also don't get rid of the plot card. Apparently you can try this again. So we just tried it. It didn't work. Maybe the explosives didn't go off. So that's kind of like a little bit of an anticlimax, but that's how this game works. So it's the end of our turn. We draw a card. Nazi-Soviet pact. Hitler and Stalin sign a non-aggression pact. Raise Hitler's military support by 1. So now we would need 5 crosshairs to win. So that's going to be very difficult. Move Bormann and Hess to the Berghof. Bormann goes to the Berghof, as does Hess. Next up is our friend Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He's going to first of all collect these weapons. And then he's going to roll 2 dice to conspire. And he rolls a 2. So he needs to increase his, he rolled 1 eagle, so he needs to increase his suspicion. He's now under extreme suspicion. And he rolls a 2, so he gets 2 additional actions. And he's going to he's going to go to the Chancellery for 1 and reveal this for 2, and it's a map. And that's his done. Propaganda strategy. Top deputies meet to discuss a new propaganda campaign. Move Bormann and Goebbels to Munich. There's Goebbels. Whoopsie. And where's Bormann? Bormann's over here. So they're both in Munich now. And it is Canaris. Canaris is first of all going to reveal this, and it's a map. For his first action, he's also going to try and conspire. He rolls 1, goes in here. He increases his to extreme, and he's sorry, he revealed it. So okay, we have to roll again because he only has 2 dice left. So yeah, he gets 1, and he doesn't increase his, and he gets 3 more actions. For these, he's going to draw a card. Leaked travel plans again. He can move Hitler up to 3. So then he's going to he's going to draw another card for 2. Covert operation. Okay, we can discard this card to ignore 1 eagle. And he's going to draw a 3rd card, just because he can. Acts of sedition. Discard this card. Lower Hitler's military support by 1. All conspirators in your space raise their motivation by 1. Okay, good. So that's that. And now we'll draw a card. Sudetenland occupation. The Wehrmacht occupies the German-speaking Sudetenland. Raise Hitler's military support by 1. He's now at 6. That's bad. So next up is Bonhoeffer. Bonhoeffer is going to use 3 dice. And he rolls 2. And now he's going to lower Hitler's military support by 1. And he's got 2 left. He's going to... pick up the map and he is, I think, let me just check one thing. I wonder how these work. Yeah. Okay, we should have applied this immediately because he's got weapons, so he reduces his suspicion by 2. So this is an automatic thing for which he doesn't have to do anything. Yeah, and I guess he's going to move to the train station. We draw a card. Czechoslovakia invaded. Czechoslovakia surrenders to Hitler with little resistance. Raise Hitler's military support by 1. Move Hitler to Vienna and reveal the item there. It's intel. Okay, good. Next up is Canaris. Canaris is going to, he doesn't really need a map. He would need explosives. He's going to move to the Zeughaus for 1. Reveal for 2. He's got keys. So he reduces his suspicion. And then he picks up the signature. No, does he actually need signatures? Yeah, no, he doesn't. So he's not going to take it. So he's got 1 more left. He's going to draw a dossier card. Document atrocities. Discard this card in Auschwitz or Treblinka. Lower Hitler's military support by 1. Okay. Let's draw a card. Gestapo raid. First of all, conspirators at extreme suspicion are arrested. Okay. So none is at extreme suspicion. For each illegal card in a conspirator's dossier, that conspirator must choose to either discard it or keep it. We're not going to discard this one, we're going to discard... This is tough. We're going to discard this one. No, sorry, we're not going to... Yeah, we are going to... Oh, this is tough. They're not going to be available until 4. Oh, we're going to discard this one. And we're going to discard this one. And we're going to increase ours by 1. And he's got 1. He's just going to increase his... Oh, no, he's actually going to discard it because he's got enough... He's got enough weapons anyway. Okay, so, okay. And now it's Bonhoeffer. Bonhoeffer is going to move 1. He's going to pick up the signature 2. And he's going to draw a card 3, and it is distant contact. Discard this card. Choose 1 item in any space, revealed or unrevealed, and add it to your conspirator's sheet. That's really good. Okay. We draw a card. Assassin caught. Georg Elser admits to planting a bomb at the Bürgerbräu Keller where Hitler was speaking. The conspirators nearest to Hitler raised their suspicion too high. That's both of them. Move Hitler to the Chancellery. Canaris does transfer. Canaris takes the map from Bonhoeffer for 1. He rolls 2 conspiracy dice and he gets 2. That's brilliant, and that's him done. Let's draw a card. Whoopsie, Hitler falls over already. Strategy session. Move Himmler, Göring and Hess to the Adlerhorst. High-level discussions of military production take place. Adlerhorst is over here, so Himmler, Göring and Hitler. Bonhoeffer. Bonhoeffer is going to use devise plot to reveal cards until he gets a plot. Sniper. You are in the same space as Hitler. You are reckless motivation. You're a member of the Abwehr. You have weapons. You have intel. Okay. He's going to take distant contacts and discard this card to get intel. And then he's going to roll, for his last action, he's going to roll one die, and it's this. And he is going to increase his to committed. So now he could attempt plots. Party rally. If rally of peace is the rally of peace is held at Nuremberg, set Hitler's military support to its starting value. Woohoo! Move Hitler and all deputies to Nuremberg. While this is the current event, any conspirator that moves into Nuremberg sets their suspicion to low. That's too bad. Okay, next up is Canaris. He's going to play acts of sedition to increase everyone's motivation. So now Dietrich Bonhoeffer is reckless. He could also then use the sniper ability. Number 1. Number 2, he's going to draw a card. Convincing alibi, discard this card, lower your suspicion by 1, and he's going to do this not just now, and he's then going to roll a die, and he gets one more action. And for this he's going to draw another card. Discard this card, all conspirators including you lower their suspicion by 1. Very good. Okay, now we draw a card. It's the last stage 2 card. Visit from Hess. Hess unexpectedly arrives with special instructions from the Führer. Move Hess to the space with the nearest conspirators. If that conspirator is alone, they may lower their motivation by 1 to move to any legal space and lower their suspicion by 1. That's not possible. So now Dietrich Bonhoeffer is with Hess, and this means that he needs to discard a card. And he's going to discard the kidnapping card. So he is going to he's going to try this. He's going to move 1, 2. No, actually, this is 1. 1, 2. He's going to try and kill Hitler. He has reckless motivation. He is a member of the Abwehr. He has intel. And he has 2 weapons. He rolls 4 dice, 5 dice to be exact. And we need 2 crosshairs. And we've got 3 crosshairs. and one eagle. So, okay, so basically we were found out. Hitler gets moved to the Chancellery. We have to all lower our motivation by 1. And we are arrested. So we now draw an event card, stage 3. Visit from Hitler. Move Hitler to the space with the nearest conspirators. If that conspirator is alone, they may set both their motivation and suspicion to starting levels. Yeah, I guess. So now it's Canaris, and he is with Hitler in the same spot, and motivation goes down by 1, but that doesn't really work because he's already a timid, so nothing happens. But he's also with Hess, and Hess means he needs to discard a card, and he is going to... Oh! Of any plot attempt. Okay, he's gonna discard this card. He's gonna move to the train station for 1 and then to Posen for 3. And then he reveals and he gets a signature. Let's draw a card. Jews targeted. All Polish Jews are required to wear a yellow Star of David at all times. All conspirators raise their motivation by 1. Move Himmler to Warsaw. So now we have Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and he is in prison. When you're arrested, immediately discard all illegal cards in your dossier and move to the prison space. Draw an event card. While it is stationed next to the Gestapo HQ on the board, the prison is not connected to any space, and the only way to move into your or out of the space is if you are released. While in prison, you can't take actions, you can't be the target of, and are unaffected by all effects. Oh, so he doesn't. Your special ability is blah, you keep all of your items and non-illegal cards in your dossier. We draw an interrogation card. When you start your turn in prison, draw the top card of the interrogation deck and secretly read it. You must choose one of the listed options on the card to resolve without discussion. You must take the tough choice alone. Do not reveal or discuss. Well, you know, I am going to reveal what I'm drawing. Okay, tell us what you know. Do not reveal or discuss this card with other players. Choose one of the following options resolving the listed effects. Then shuffle this card back into the interrogation deck. If all of the effects of a given option cannot be applied, you must choose a different option. Attempting to resist interrogation option C is always an eligible option to choose. Resistance cell discovered. Discard one card from each conspirator's dossier. Threat assessment. Discard one plot in a dossier. Well, I can't because I don't have any cards. Okay, I'm going to take threat assessment. I'm going to take this plot card and put it down. I'm going to be released, moved to the Gestapo HQ, but I'm also highly suspicious. Well, yeah, I mean, I did try to kill him, so yeah, of course I would be highly suspicious. And then we draw a card. Visit from Göring. Göring conducts an unscheduled inspection of local Luftwaffe installations. Move Göring to the space with the nearest, well, they're all in Nuremberg, aren't they? It's 1, 2, or, yeah, well, it's either. So, if it's a number, it's going to be Gestapo HQ, and if it's not, then it's going to be Posen. It's a number, so he's going to move here. If that conspirator is alone, they may discard any number of items. For each item discarded in this way, they lower their suspicion by 1. Yeah. They're going to discard the weapons. Because we've got 2. And we don't know how many we're going to need later. Anyway, so, yeah. Okay, now it's Canaris. Canaris is going to pick up the signature. He's then going to draw a dossier card. Stockpile equipment, discard this card. Choose an item from the discard pile and add it to your conspirator sheet. Not too bad. So that was 1, 2, and then he's going to roll 1 die, and he rolls a crosshairs. Okay, we draw a card. Fall of Paris. France signs an armistice with Germany. If Hitler's military support is lower than 5, raise it to 5. Oh God. All conspirators lower their motivation by 1. So we cannot actually attempt any plots at the moment. It's Bonhoeffer. Sorry, it's Bonhoeffer. He needs to discard an item. He's going to discard weapons. He's actually not going to discard weapons, he's going to discard signature. He is going to roll 3 dice, and he gets 7 additional actions. He is going to move for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we draw a card. London bombed. Die Luftwaffe conducts bombing raids over London. Raise Hitler's military support to 6. Move Hesse to Prague. And reveal the item there. It's intel. Okay. Okay, next up is Canaris. He's going to move to the Wolfschanze for 1, reveal 2, and he's going to draw a dossier card. And it's military secrets. Oh! He can't because he's timid. He needs to discard. Yeah, he's going to discard this card. So he's going to first, does he actually need this? He doesn't. Yeah, he's going to play, so he moved 1. He revealed 2. He's gonna going to roll 1 die and puts it on the descent track, and then he draws a card. Berghof retreat. Hitler enjoys a visit to the mountains. Move Hitler, Himmler, Goebbels and Bormann to the Berghof. Hitler, Himmler, Bormann and Goebbels. Okay. Bonhoeffer. Bonhoeffer is going to draw a card. Discard this card in Zurich or Stockholm. Lower Hitler's military support by 1. He's going to draw another card. A plot. Woohoo! Poison gas. Required elements. You are in the same space as Hitler. Hitler is in a fortified space. Optional elements. Abwehr, poison, keys. And then he's going to roll 1 die. And he gets 2 more actions. He's going to reveal Tannenberg for 1. And it's a signature. And he's going to move to Munich. And then he's going to draw a card. Invasion of Norway. German forces invade neutral Norway. Raise Hitler's military support by 1. It's now at 7. Doesn't look good. Canaris. Canaris is going to draw a card. Cover story. Well, actually he can't. Sorry. Because he's got 2 already. He's going to roll 3 dice. Puts 1 here. And he gets 3 more. He increases his he uses the motivation to skeptical, which means he has more space in his dossier. So he draws 1 card for 2, another one for 1, and another one. Devise plot. Okay. Okay, and that's his turn over. Sea Lion postponed. Hitler postpones the invasion of Britain after heavy losses during the air campaign. Key event. When the next card is drawn, move this key event to the side of the board. Remove it when this next stage begins. All conspirators lower their motivation by 1. Oh God. So now he needs to discard. One, 2, Friedrich Bonhoeffer is going to reveal a badge in Munich for 1. He's gonna draw a card. Airplane access. Discard this card. Move to any legal space on the board. He's gonna fly to the Voice Transit to meet up with his friend. And that's him done. Gestapo raid. Conspirators at extreme suspicion are arrested. There aren't any. Next up is Canaris. He's going to give the keys to Bonhoeffer for 1. Bonhoeffer is going, and then he's going to he's going to roll 2 dice. And he gets 2 more actions. He's going to move here, 1, and he's going to reveal this for 2. Okay. So, draw a card. Another Gestapo raid. Again, nothing happens. End of stage 2. End of stage 3. Next up is Bonhoeffer. Bonhoeffer is going to move for 1, and he's going to collect this. He's going to transfer the weapons to Canaris for 2, and then he's going to pick up the poison for 3. Stage 4, first card. Visit from Himmler. Himmler continues secret investigations in the area. Move Himmler to the space with the nearest conspirators. That's easy because they're all in the same space. Plop. All Wehrmacht lower their motivation by 1. Nope, because none of them are Wehrmacht. With Himmler in the same place, your suspicion increases by 1. So Canaris' suspicion goes up to medium. But he's going to so he's going to use his first action as a cover story. Play the cards that each one's suspicion goes down by 1 in the same space. Then he's going to draw a card for 2. Resistance network. While in your dossier, lower your suspicion by 1 for each. Okay, for any conspire action. Discard this card if it is rolled during any conspire action. Okay. And then he's going to roll 1 die. And it's a. He could now lower his suspicion, but it's low anyway. So let's draw a card. Visit from Goebbels. Move Goebbels to the space with the nearest conspirators. All civilians lower their motivation by 1. We're not civilians. Okay, so now Bonhoeffer is in the same space as Himmler. So his suspicion is increased by 1. And he cannot use his ability, which is fine. Okay. So he's going to move to Anlage Süd for 1, reveal 2 explosives. And then he's going to roll a die. And that's it. Gestapo raid, nothing happens. It's Canaris. Canaris needs to increase his suspicion by 1. And he also can't use his ability, which he can't anyway. So he's going to roll 3 dice. So for each of these, he can lower his suspicion for 1. He has 2 actions left. He's going to move his own motivation to skeptical. He's got 2 actions left. He's going to move for 1. And he's going to draw a card for 2. And that's a plot to derail a train. Okay. And that's the end. We're going to draw a card. Pearl Harbor attacked. Hitler declares war on the United States after the attack by the Japanese. Lower Hitler's military support by 1. Remove the next 3 stage 4 event cards from the game. Do not reveal these cards. Remove the Hess deputy token from the game. Okay, now this is important. 1, 2, 3. Because for those of you who don't know, Rudolf Hess did something during the Second World War. He went and took a plane and flew it to Britain, where he ended up and was imprisoned. And he was held as a prisoner in Berlin-Spandau for the rest of his life, essentially. And and I was always wondering how they were going to do this in the game, because at some point he's simply removed. He's no longer there. He's in Britain and he's a prisoner. And the way, as you can see, they do it is they actually then remove his token, which I really liked, because it means that they're taking this really seriously. And it also means that for gameplay purposes, you have 1 fewer person to contend with, which is good. Okay, so that was Canaris. Next up is Bonhoeffer. Bonhoeffer is going to he's going to lower his suspicion by 3. I should have checked this because he's got poison with him. He's going to move to Auschwitz to increase his motivation. Well, you know, that's not why he's doing it. Motivation by 2, suspicion by 1. He could now, in theory, attempt a plot. So that was 1. Two, 3. And he's going to draw a card. Hitler assumes command. Hitler takes direct control of the Wehrmacht operations. Lower Hitler's military support by 1. Move Hitler to the Wolfschanze. And reveal the item there. Okay. Next one is Bonhoeffer. He would need 5, wouldn't he? 1, 2, 3. It's only got 4. It's too bad. He's going to move 1, 2, 3. His suspicion goes up by 1. And that's all he can do. Hess leaves Germany. Hess flies to Scotland. Lower Hitler's military support by 2. Remove the Hess deputy token. While this is the current event, ignore 1 on all plot events. He gets 5 more. He's going to draw a card for 1. He's going to play vital information for 1. Then he's going to play stalled investigation, which he just retrieved for 1. So each one reduces their suspicion by 1, and he's got 2 more left. He's going to draw another card. Airplane access. Move to any legal space on the board. He's going to move. No, he's not gonna. He's gonna move to here. Okay. He draws a card. Last card of stage 4. Fall of Kiev. The city of Kiev is captured by the Wehrmacht. Raise Hitler's military support by 2. That's not good. Next up is Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He is in Zurich. He is going to discard this card as his first action to lower the military support. He is then going to roll 2 dice. He's got 3 more. He's going to draw a card. Decrypt communication. Discard this card. Reveal the next 2 event cards and either remove 1 card from the game and place the other face down on top of it, or place both cards face down on top of the event decks in any order. Okay. Okay. He's going to draw another card. Poison parcel. Signature. Poison map. Okay. He's got 1 left. He's going to move to Munich. Gestapo raid. Nothing happens. Canaris. Is going to move 1, 2, and he's gonna take the intel from Dietrich Bonhoeffer for 3. Draw a card. Gestapo raid. Nothing happens. Bonhoeffer is going to get the signature from Canaris for 1. He's going to give him the keys for 2, and he's going to take the map for 3. Draw a card. Heydrich assassinated. Move Hitler and all deputies to the Chancellery. Heydrich is assassinated in Prague by the resistance, so everybody goes to the Chancellery. All conspirators in Prague are under high or extreme suspicion are arrested. We are not in Prague, which is good. Canaris is going to roll 3 dice. He gets 2 additional actions. He's going to draw 1 card. History repeats. Discard this card. Shuffle all discarded conspirator cards back into the conspirator deck, then add the top card of the deck to your dossier. And he's going to do this straight away. Oh, we actually would have been able to kill him because we've got the play this at any time card, which I didn't realize, but that's fine. We would have been able to kill him on our first go. Convincing alibi. Discard this card. Lower your suspicion by 1. His suspicion is very low anyway. Okay, draw a card. Lebensraum. Rumors of horrific mass killings begin to filter in from the Eastern Front. All conspirators raise their motivation by 1. Woohoo! Move Himmler to Wasserberg and reveal the item there. I wonder where Wasserberg is. Oh, it's up there. Oh, it's Wasserburg. Okay, well, one of these is wrong. Himmler. Poison. Okay, so let's see. We're at 4. We're going to roll 3 dice. And we're going to have 2 additional ones. I'm wondering, should I switch out plots? No, I'm going to take the airplane axis card for 1 action, and I'm going to use the decrypt communication to look at the top 2 cards. Visit from Göring. Göring moves all up where lower the motivation by 1. Lower Hitler's military support by 1. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to discard this card. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. And then we're going to draw this card. And I will have to switch out the camera. And here we are back. Sorry about that now. So the next card says lower Rommel defeated. The Afrika Korps is defeated at El Alamein. Lower Hitler's support by 1. Remove the next 2 stage 5 cards and do not reveal these cards. Okay. So now it is Canaris. Canaris is going to draw a card. Discard this card, move Hitler up to 3 spaces or move a conspirator up to 3 spaces. He's going to draw another card. It's a plot. Poison food. Required elements. You are in the same space as Hitler. Hitler is in any space in Berlin. You have you've got intel and poison. So that was his second, and he's going to give this to Bonhoeffer as well, and that's the end of his. So now, Eastern push. The Eastern campaign intensifies. Raise Hitler's military support by 1. Darn. Move all Wehrmacht to Borisov. Okay, we would need 4. What have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's as much as we could muster. We're going to roll 3 dice. have 6 more. We're going to get the keys for 1. I'm going to exchange the weapons for 2. So we've got 4 left. Going to draw a card. For 1, acts of sedition, lower his support. So we've got 2 left. We're going to use the airplane access to fly to Hitler's place in the Chancellery. Now we have 1 left, and we could in theory try and kill him. So Hitler's in a fortified space. We are in the Abwehr. We have poison, we have keys. We have 4 dice. We're going to try this. We need 3 successes. And we have no successes. Nothing happens. Okay, we draw a card. Visit from Bormann. Move Bormann to the space with the nearest conspirators. That's where he is already. If that conspirator is alone, they are arrested. Oh, that's not good. Okay. Now it's Wilhelm Canaris. He's going to roll 3 dice. He's got 8 things he can do. He's going to draw a card. 7. Move to any legal space on the board. He's going to use this. Then he's going to pick up the map. Then he's going to draw a card. He's going to move 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the Berghof. And then he's going to draw a card. Slow retreat. The Wehrmacht continues to retreat. If a conspirator, deputy or Hitler is in a 7th space, move them to the nearest legal space. So we're now at stage 6. We're in prison. We draw an interrogation card. Tell us what you know. Cause and effect. After resolving this turn's events, draw an additional event card. Okay. Yeah. Visit from Hitler. Hitler presents medals to the widows of fallen officers. Move Hitler to the space with the nearest conspirator. Well, this is the current event. Ignore 2 on all plot events. And number 2. Move Hitler to the Chancellery while this Berlin bombed. Okay. Good. That didn't go so well. Canaris is still not motivated. 3. Two. 1, 2. Stalingrad surrounded. The Wehrmacht suffers its worst defeat of the war. Set Hitler's military support to starting level. Now would be a good time. Tell us what you know. Lower one conspirator's motivation by 1. You are released under high suspicion. Okay, draw a card. Kursk recaptured. Red Army battalions recapture the city of Kursk. Lower Hitler's military support by 1. Move Hitler to Anlage Süd. Move Bormann to Posen. Bormann to Posen. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to play delay Hitler. When an event would cause Hitler to leave his space, cancel that movement. He's not moving. Now it's Canaris' turn. Canaris is going to discard an item and lower one person's suspicion by 1. Then he is going to draw a card. And he's going to discard this card to increase his own motivation. So that's all his 3. Let's see what happens. Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. While this is the current event, if the descent track is filled, all conspirators may raise their motivation by 1 instead of choosing from the normal benefits. Okay. So now it's Bonhoeffer. Bonhoeffer can Bonhoeffer is going to move to the Chancellery for 1. He's going to attempt to kill Hitler. He's going to use poison gas. He is in the same space as Hitler, and Hitler is in a fortified space. That grants us 1 die. We are in the Abwehr, which grants us a 2nd die. We have poison, grants us a 3rd die, and we've got keys, grants us a 4th die. We need 2 successes. And we roll 0 successes. Nothing happens. Can you try again, actually? Because that was his... I think you can try twice, can't you? What happens if you fail? Simply continue. Okay, simply continue. We took 1 step, so we're going to try this again. I don't know if this is, but according to the rules, this should be possible. And we managed to pass. We have 1 eagle, but we're going to play covert operation, which discards this die. We have 3, we needed 2. We've killed Hitler. We would have killed him on our first try anyway if I'd played by the rules and if I'd actually read the cards right. Which now means we are allowed to take a selfie with this card. We killed Hitler. Victory. History will remember your brave acts that saved millions of lives and spared the world from the evils of Hitler and Nazi Germany. When you win the game, take a picture of your group with the back of this card and announce your triumph in social media with the hashtag #WeKilledHitler. Well, I'm not going to do that, but we managed to win. This is the first time. I actually like the game, but I will also not lie to you. As you saw, sometimes you end up with not very much to do. Because sometimes you would have everything you need, but your motivation is too low. You know, increasing your motivation is kind of difficult, I find. Also, of course, we were playing on easy, which means that the lowest military support is 2. And this means you would only need 2 crosshair results to be able to assassinate Hitler. Of course, when you play on hard, the minimum would always be 4. So that's going to be quite difficult to achieve, especially since you can only hold 4 items maximum in your. Well, I mean, there was this one card that would have doubled as an item. And then if you'd had weapons, 3 weapons, plus this one would have been 4. So yes, it is possible. But it is a really, really interesting game. And like I said, I mean, sometimes when you play, or when I play card-driven games, you know, and you get to read something that happens on a card and it's a historical card, you basically just glance at it and you, yeah, well, you know, such and such happens, blah, 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 let's move on. What is the game effect? You don't necessarily read the narrative. I certainly saw this in a game called Nemo's War, which of course isn't a historical game, but you have all of this narrative that's supposedly happening, but you just basically, I just glance at it and I kind of go, yeah, well, this is not happening, I don't care about this, I just look at the game effect. Here, maybe it's the theme, but I think it's actually more because the cards contain historical information and a picture, but it is very, very limited information, which is topical, which is important, but they actually manage to marry this historical information to a game effect, like increasing the military support, decreasing the military support, increasing a person's motivation or decreasing a person's motivation. That makes perfect sense. And so this this marriage between historical events that are depicted as well as game mechanics is so close that when you read the story, the historical part of the card, it makes perfect sense, and it is a really, really interesting way of playing the game and experiencing history. And as I said before, when I first bought the game, I had heard that it was a very good solo game. But I was a bit suspicious. Oh, well, suspicious. I was a bit unsure, because it is, of course, a game about a topic which is very sensitive. I mean, this is not a war game where you basically just move around counters that represent armies or tactical units, and you roll some dice and then you see what happened in Stalingrad. This is a what-if scenario, because obviously, as we all know, unfortunately, Hitler did not get killed. Hitler survived. He didn't die until pretty much the end of the war, and then he killed himself. And with games that deal with the darker sides of human history, you have to be really, really careful, because they can be quite problematic and tasteless. And today I was watching a short video on a game called Freedom, the Underground Railway, which deals with American slavery and freeing of slaves using the so-called Underground Railway. So a group of people, conspirators in a way, who are trying to free slaves by moving them from southern areas of the North American continent to, I believe in the game, they're trying to move them to Canada to set them free. And there were two people talking about the game, and one was a white American and the other one was a black American. And they were talking about, is it appropriate to have a game that deals with this topic, you know? And the person who was, the white person, was saying that his, he had been talking about this game to his boss, who's an African American, and had told him, you know, that he was going to make probably even a video about it, I don't know. And his boss felt offended by the fact that there was a game that would deal with, you know, this topic. And of course, it's not a game in terms of, nobody says that this is funny or anything, but it is actually a, apparently a very, very good historical treatment of this time and era. And the other person who was doing the review was in fact a black American, and he was asked specifically, you know, did he find this game offensive? Did he find this was, you know, a topic that shouldn't be made into a game? And he said that he didn't think it was offensive at all, and he felt that it was actually a really, really good game, as games go, and that the way the topic was dealt with was in no way insensitive. And of course, this is this person's opinion, so other people may agree or disagree. But what I'm trying to say is that there are certain topics of games which are maybe not the kind of topic that people might say that we should make games about, you know, because games are quite often associated in popular culture with something that is fun. Although in game theory, having fun isn't necessarily something that needs to happen for something to count as a game. Did I have fun playing Black Orchestra? Yes, I did. Do I believe that it is trivializing a very, very dark time in European and, well, actually world history, where tens of millions of people found their deaths? No, I don't think it's trivializing it at all. It is a what-if scenario, which probably makes it a little bit less problematic, maybe, for some people. But I have to say that I feel, given the historicity of the storytelling and the narrative, I feel it is doing a really good job of combining real-life events with game mechanics and trying to bring about a situation which people tried to bring about. I mean, there were numerous attempts on Hitler's life and those are only the ones that we know of. We don't know how many times people tried to assassinate him, but the plot failed. But nobody knew that they had been plotting. And so in the end, you know, no one was any the wiser, and nothing happened. There was a Kickstarter about this, I think the second printing or second version, or I don't know, only recently, and I backed it, not for the base game, because I got the base game hasn't changed, but they are adding additional cards and additional conspirators, and I'm very, very happy to say that they have added Sophie Scholl. Of course, she wasn't attempting to assassinate Hitler, but she was in the resistance. She's a very, very important member of the resistance, one of the very few women, and it was actually her, I want to say, 75th anniversary of her execution by the Nazi regime a week ago. And she is one of the conspirators that comes out with the Kickstarter. I've backed the Kickstarter for the additional cards, and yeah, I can recommend this game. And I hope you enjoyed this. It was number 5 in my 12 Games of Christmas challenge. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.